Welcome back. It's Lach and Raph, and as always, we're on a mission to dramatically improve the health and fitness of Australia's business executives and leaders, which is why today we're going to touch on a subject that maybe not everyone knows about, but is becoming more and more popular, which is TRT, Testosterone Replacement Therapy. So we're going to talk about what testosterone is. We're going to be talking about just hormone replacement therapy for men and women, and then like who it's for and like why it actually is getting so popular. So starting with what testosterone is. So testosterone is a hormone found in men and women. There's a lot more of it in men than there is in women, but both genders have testosterone and both need it. It's very essential for processes in the body. It's not like, oh, we don't want any testosterone in women. That's bad. It has masculine things to it. No, you need it for like muscle mass. You need it for body composition. You need it for mood. You need it for bone density. And then same in men. You need it for all those different reasons as well. And so, yeah, it's a hormone that the bodies produce. And TRT is essentially the medical therapy that when testosterone is diagnosed as low, it then gets either injected or taken as a cream or a gel. So exogenous testosterone is what it's called. So external hormone use. Now, today's really just about an education piece. We're not really going to make like our call on whether we recommend or whatever. We're not doctors. This is a medical advice. So we're not going to make any recommendations. We're just going to kind of lay out everything that we understand and know about it. And then obviously if that's something that, you're interested, you need to go explore that separately with your own doctors.
I was looking at Google Trends, and testosterone, it has like basically just got more and more popular as a Google search in Australia since 2000. It really kicked off around 2008, 2009.
Okay.
Something happened and people are interested.
CrossFit started in 2008.
I think I just started searching it.
So a bit about testosterone. So it was first synthesized in like 1938 and it got approved for medical use in the 1940s. So it's been around a long time. It's one of, now when I say safe, it's definitely not, I definitely wouldn't say it's just like blanket safe, but it's one of our most well understood hormones and its effects on the body. So we have a lot of data on it, a lot of research on it. So in terms of understanding it and preparing for what the negative side effects could be if people are on TRT, we're pretty well versed. And we know what to look for. So it's a well-established medication. And it's honestly, it's most commonly prescribed in men who present low testosterone and most commonly prescribed for women that are going through menopause. So menopause, HRT is recommended. So hormone replacement therapy, one of those hormones that gets added in exogenously, not all the time, is testosterone. It makes a tremendous difference on like energy, mood, and body composition for women. But in the context of men, it's mostly prescribed for men that have low testosterone. Now, the most common medical condition is hypogonadism. So it's basically like your testes are not functioning correctly. It's like a disease, a genetic disorder. And then you'll get testosterone prescribed to you. Outside of that, there's not like loads of reasons. Maybe if you had a tumor on your testicles as well, on your testes, you would also have low testosterone. So there's some of the medical reasons for it. Now, basically where it's entered into this, obviously bodybuilders, and performance athletes have been abusing it legally and illegally for a very long time for performance
since it came out.
Yes, for performance reasons and aesthetic reasons. And now it's kind of made its way into like the longevity and health community where people are like, all right, well, my testosterone's low, so I'm just going to inject testosterone to feel young again and get stronger and look better. Not always necessarily the best approach. So a few reasons why testosterone starts to go down from basically, the lifestyle factors, it can go down at any point, but your testosterone goes down, depending on your genetics, anywhere from 35 to 40, and it drops 1% a year. So it goes from like, 100% to 99%, and then 1% of 90%, 99%, and then 1% of 98 point whatever, 1%. So it starts to slowly go down if you don't change your lifestyle. Now, some of the things that impact testosterone levels, lifestyle factors. So first one is alcohol consumption. You start drinking regularly, you start 1 or 2 drinks, 3 drinks, 4 or 5 drinks a week, testosterone is going to start hitting the floor. Poor sleep. Testosterone, this is always the craziest statistic. 2 nights in a row of less than 7 hours sleep. So if you slept 6.5 hours, 2 nights in a row, your testosterone is halved. Let me say that again. So 2 nights in a row of less than 7 hours sleep, halve your testosterone. So poor sleep.
Not good.
Yep.
It's also, you think about it, you're talking about being so worried about a 1% drop per year.
Talk about a 50% drop in 2 days.
It's why I got to talk in perspective here.
Yeah. And then like no weight training. So like not doing any sort of weights. And like when I say weight training, like hard weight training, like proper weight training. If you lift like 2 kilo dumbbells, not doing anything. If you go to F45 class, Barry's class, do some dumbbells, it's not weight training. We're talking about resistance training, heavy weights, near failure, 2 to 12 reps with rest in between. Chronic cardio. So like if you do, there's a lot of research on if you just do lots of long distance cardio, I don't know, I'd maybe call it somewhere between like 3 to 15 hours a week worth of cardio, you will notice a drop in testosterone. In fact, there's a famous story once I heard on a podcast. It was like he was the what's the longest distance in the Olympics on the track?
10,000?
Is it 10,000? Is it 10K? I think he
Yeah,
was.
then you go marathon.
I think he was the national champion of the 10K.
Yeah.
And his testosterone was, he retired from before the Olympics. He was the fastest guy in the US, but he retired because the amount of cardio he was doing was tanking his testosterone so much that it was so dangerously low that it was affecting his health. Like his bones were becoming brittle, like his organs were starting to fail because he was just doing too much cardio. And then as soon as he pulled back the cardio, his testosterone started going up. He felt better. His health improved. Obviously, need to do cardio to get better at that. And it's not to say that everyone that trains and like has their testosterone plummet, but generally, if you do a lot of cardio, your testosterone will go down. You can offset that with like doing weight training, but like cardio athletes, their testosterone is very low. Lack of sunlight, so getting enough vitamin D sunlight will affect testosterone levels, and then just being overweight. People that like carry too much body fat are going to have lower testosterone as well.
I think what's so interesting is like there's so much talk around obviously testosterone. When they measure it, it's like I think they say it's around like the average 30-year-old today is like around the average 50-year-old from like 30, 40 years ago. And then people say, oh, it's like the plastics, or it's like the microplastics, or the thing in the water. But we see, and like no one actually knows, right? Because there'd be so many factors to pull apart on this.
So many factors.
But we see in the gym, people's testosterone improves so much, like, can double or increase by 50%. By doing all the things you just mentioned, we already know destroy testosterone.
Yeah.
And if we're truthful, you've basically listed off all the things we've started doing over the last 40 years, right? People are overweight. So they've got a lot more fat than they used to. They're sleeping less. They're drinking more. They've been drinking for a while, but they're still drinking.
Yeah.
They're still drinking. So like, if I was to bet, it's going to be around those.
Yeah.
It's the people are doing all the wrong lifestyle factors, and it's probably not this like special plastic that's in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's easy to point to one thing, but it's harder to address, be self-aware that it's like, hey, I'm not actually exercising.
Particularly when we see huge improvements in it and we don't change the water.
No. No, we've got tons of plastics in us.
We don't change the food supply.
Yeah. And then, look, so when it comes to getting TRT prescribed, how necessary is it? Well, I would say like completely unnecessary until like unless you're doing all of these factors perfect. Like the lifestyle factors will drive up your natural testosterone levels through the roof. Like you'll have great testosterone for the rest of your life. Obviously at some point it's going to go down, maybe in your like 70s and 80s at a certain point. But if you're doing these things, you're never really going to need it. I mean, now there's obviously maybe an argument. People say, well, I know I'm doing everything right, but I still want to feel younger and do a boost. I mean, that's completely up to you. And that's like something you need to consult with a doctor about. But in terms of needing it for your health and longevity, it's not really that necessary at all unless you have like a medical condition. So it's getting popular because obviously it's an instant boost, right? It's a shortcut to feeling good and being stronger and looking better. But there are a lot of damaging side effects that can happen. And depending on your genetics and depending on how you react to it, there's no free biological lunch is the famous saying. So there's always going to be some stress on your heart. There's going to be some organ which isn't agreeing with it. So you do need to speak to a doctor if you're going to go down this path. And I would like try and warn against it for as long as possible. And anyone under like 50 years old, you're crazy if you think you need TRT. Absolutely crazy. So there it is. So that's a little bit about TRT and its history. Who needs it, who doesn't need it. Just things to be aware of. Again, there's no free biological lunch. So it's not just like TRT, thumbs up, 100%. There are a lot of factors to consider here. And definitely address those lifestyle factors first. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll speak to you all on the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you want to get the information in this episode and more, you can download the 30-day health optimization blueprint, which is all the tools and tactics that we use with our clients every day for 30 days. We'll deliver you an email in your inbox. Just head to lockerroomgym.com/blueprint to get the emails. That's lockerroomgym.com/blueprint.